Prestigious university such as LSU.
Louisiana State University.
I will be attending the University of LSU.
I will be attending LSU.
I'm 115% committed to LSU.
I'm committed to LSU and it's my school.
LSU.
Big LSU.
Louisiana State University.
Just like people ask me, why LSU? When I approached them, I asked them, why not LSU?
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. As you saw in the opening clip, why not LSU this time of year? Of course, 1 week away from December 15th, early signing period, National Signing Day for the recruits out there in 2022. We have that and a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar today. Of course, you heard the news that Max Johnson will enter the transfer portal. His younger brother Jake decommits. Coach Brian Kelly is adding some pieces to his staff, and LSU is also getting ready for the Texas Bowl. A lot going on. Welcome in the Bud Man to Tigers Roar. Buddy, good to see you.
I tell you what, everybody's jacket's a little bit tighter after Thanksgiving, and why not Tigers Roar on this Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening? Hope everybody doing well. JP, good to see you. Yeah, I saw a little bit of the video for signing day, and we'll be joined by Mike Scarborough in an hour or so as we talk about the upcoming signing period. And it has been a mess, just one big hot mess with everything that's been going on with LSU football. Max Johnson decides to opt out and go bye-bye. Garrett Nussmeier, we're going to hear what happens with him, whether he's going to play and lose a red shirt. Of course, Landon Jackson, another kid, opting out. Deion Smith had some problems. Got suspended 2 or 3 times this year because of his behavior. He leaves. It's just been one exit after another, and you hear the old thing about it's going to get worse before it gets better. We were talking last week about the fact that this is going to be a reset. This is going to be a rebuild, and this is going to be a reshuffling. So Tiger fans a little bit in disarray, but you got to hang in there and trust the process.
Right, a whole lot going on. Of course, you know about the new coach, Brian Kelly, that was officially announced a week ago from today. He has added some pieces to his staff. Greg McMahon has retired, and he has a new special teams coordinator coming in, a guy that was at Notre Dame with him, and Bill Polian. He also got a co-coordinator for his strength and conditioning department, which of course means Tiger legend Tommy Moffitt was let go. It was a sad day around the facility for the players who all adore Tommy Moffitt, pretty much the godfather of strength and conditioning around the SEC. I mean, been here for 21 years in Baton Rouge, a guy that was part of 3 national championships. I don't think there was a player that played for Tommy Moffitt that didn't adore him.
Yeah, no doubt, and everybody appreciates Tommy. I personally appreciated Tommy when we got prostate cancer. He was one of the first guys that we called. And but the problem is this. Yesterday's victories are no longer relevant. Did LSU look fat at the line of scrimmage?
Well, especially in that Week 1 game at UCLA, where.
But did LSU look like Georgia and Alabama physically this year and last year?
No, not at all.
And so you got a new guy coming in strength and conditioning. Jacob Flint is the guy that was with him. He will go from a strength and conditioning coordinator to being the main guy, and as we know, breaking it down. But yeah, I think a lot of people very excited for Tommy. And a great run, 21 years. Yep. But unfortunately, JP, you are responsible for a lot of aspects because you spend more time with them, especially in the off season, and he just couldn't keep the guys away from the fork and the knife. And I'm feeling heavy today after Thanksgiving, but I'm not having to play. But kudos to Tommy Moffitt and what he brought to the LSU program to be able to get hired by Saban and last all the way through those coaching exchanges with Miles and then, of course, Coach O. It says a lot of what he brought to the table But, you know, it's a new day and age, and just like you're going to replace me very soon, you know, sometimes younger is better, my friend.
Well, one guy leaves, one legend leaves, and one legend returns. Frank Wilson was brought back to Baton Rouge. The guy's going to be the associate head coach. That's just a title they gave him right now. I think that's really because, you know, Coach Kelly's really trying to fill out his staff. I do think we'll get another title change. But Frank Wilson, I mean, the guy recruits in New Orleans like no other, knows the landscape of Louisiana, identifies and recruits talent, develops talent like not many we have seen in the past. When the news was released, you see the graphic right there that Frank Wilson was coming back. I mean, there were so many pro guys that came out on Twitter and social media and really gave their support for Frank Wilson, said he was the best coach. Leonard Fournette said he was the best running backs coach he ever played for on all levels. You know, Juice and the Honey Badger, all these guys that Frank Wilson has coached and recruited, happy that he's come back to Baton Rouge. And, of course, you know, he was busy on the recruiting trail today. Lake Charles Prep, he was visiting Trevante Citizen, a guy that was hot on LSU, was committed to LSU, but then had some doubts as of late. But happy to see this opportunity for Frank Wilson to come back to Baton Rouge. And what a big get by this Coach Kelly staff.
Well, and listen, if the jury is out on Kelly on a couple of things, first of all, how quickly can it is imperative that with this early signing period a week away, we know that it's one of those things that you got to jump in and get heavily involved. And it sounds like we are going to tweak some microphones, and we're going to audibilize, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of other stuff because it's Wednesday. And believe it or not, folks, we are not far away from Christmas shopping days.
That's right. It is the season. Quick break here on Tigers Roll. Come back and talk a whole lot more LSU football. We'll talk the Texas Bowl coming up January 4th against Kansas State. Don't go there. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
At the Team Automotive Group, we make it easy for you to buy here or sell here. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here while your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been, and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here at the Team Automotive Group.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
And welcome back to Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche and the Budman Buddy Songy here at Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Budman, let me tell you about the daily special.
Yeah.
Tuesday through Saturday, you get a pulled pork sandwich, 2 sides, and a drink for under $7. I mean, what a deal. Pulled pork is outstanding. Come check it out. Of course, you have the dinner special. 3 smoked meats, 2 sides, and a drink for under $12. Budman, you can't get a better deal than that. The food is outstanding. Come check it out, Old School Barbecue.
I think I'm going to take a little bit home. I got to talk to our main guy in the kitchen, and you can smell it when you come in here. And once again, brisket, ribs, chicken, the whole 9 yards. Pulled pork, very popular. Come by and see us, 10655. There's our chef in the background, and he's becoming more and more popular every day.
That's right. Shout out to Terry in the back. We continue our conversation about LSU football. Of course, before we get to next season and officially start the coaching aspect of Brian Kelly, we got to play a bowl game, Bud, man. LSU finished 6-6 after a late game victory over the Texas A&M Aggies, which turned out to be Max Johnson's last throw as a Tiger. Was a beautiful touchdown pass to Jaire Jenkins to win the game late in that fourth quarter. Bud, man, wasn't expecting the news of Max Johnson in the portal. Of course, you know he brings his brother with him. Jake Johnson, the #1 tight end in the country, was committed to LSU, is no longer. But the timing to me is peculiar for Max Johnson. I feel a couple different ways about it. I'll get your feelings first, and I'll kind of chime in. How do you feel about the transfer portal announcement?
You get a lot of calls during the season. You never know if it's a legitimate rumor or not, but the guy says, look, Max Johnson and his brother aren't going to be at LSU next year. And I said, where are they going to be? He said, well, wouldn't shock me to see them go to Florida State. Now, the daddy, Brad Johnson, played at Florida State, and we know Mark Rick is the uncle, and he had a Florida State relationship. Look, I'll say this, and we had Alan Risher, the former quarterback, who was an excellent quarterback for LSU many years ago, and we were talking about it. And 27 touchdowns and 6 INTs is pretty darn good stats.
True sophomore.
But he held the ball too long. He didn't benefit from the horrific play calling of Jay Peets this year.
Right.
You don't roll out a left-handed quarterback to the right and ask him to throw against the grain like he did with Nussmeier going to the left. So we don't need to beat Jacob in Christmas season, but that was a really bad hire. That all being said, I didn't think he processed as quickly as he needed to. And look, do you realize he ran double-digit times in 2020 in those last 2 games he started and won?
Right.
Ran 12 or 13 times in both games against Florida, that incredible victory.
Yeah.
And then in the Ole Miss game where he came back and him and Butte hooked up for 300-plus yards. That all being said, he didn't look the same this year. Right. He didn't look as fast. He didn't look as confident. I mean, everybody remembers that crazy back-ass throw that he made in the UCLA game. So I thought he regressed a little bit, even though the stats don't tell that. And here's the question. You talk about the timing? Well, guess what? National Signing Day is a week from today.
Right.
And my prediction is that they will take a visit to Florida State, and him and his brother will end up being Seminoles. And how about this storyline? Can we build it up any greater? LSU opens the season in New Orleans in the Superdome against
Florida State.
And Max Johnson. You like it?
Right. And if it comes to fruition, I mean, that's certainly interesting.
And Jake Johnson, too, now. Right. Because LSU never does a great job of covering the tight end. But all things being said, folks, especially if you're north of 50, the days of college football being so fun and so pure and so nice and vanilla, those days are over. This is the wild, wild west. This is driving on the interstate 100 miles an hour, Texan, and changing lanes. I mean, that kind of sums up what's going on in college football right now with NIL, the transfer portal, and all these kids opting out. And so you just got to hang in there. Of course, Walker Howard wants to see who the new offensive coordinator is going to be. And they will have a big recruiting weekend this weekend. But it shocked me, but yet I did kind of buy in the fact that Max possibly could go because, let's be honest, do you think Max Johnson would have started anymore at LSU?
Well, I mean, there was definitely going to be a competition at quarterback between Nussmeier, Johnson, or if he stayed, and Walker Howard. And we know how Brian Kelly feels about Walker Howard. And Walker Howard is walking around town like he knows he is the next LSU quarterback. And I think a lot of people believe him. Getting back to Max Johnson, the timing, right before the bowl, your team fought back to win the last 2 football games so you can get bowl eligible. You go to the 21st bowl in 22 years for the Tigers. It's a big deal to a lot of people. Okay, a lot of people are invested in LSU going to a bowl game and showcasing their skills against a team from another conference or a team that might have a little bit of a back and forth rivalry with LSU. And there's been a lot of storylines. I mean, just look back to the last time LSU was in the Texas Bowl. They played Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, there was also a bowl game against Lamar Jackson. LSU has always had interesting storylines for their bowls, and it means a lot to a lot of people. With the new coach being announced, it's going to be the changing of the torch, of the colors. It's Brian Kelly's area, it's Brian Kelly's team, it's his coaching staff. He wants to move on and build his own legacy at LSU. And it kind of feels like a lot of people are buying into that before the bowl game even gets here. So I don't really blame Max Johnson for also catching that sentiment where it's like, look, guys, yeah, it's great we got here, but this game doesn't matter. I mean, we're 6-6. We're playing January 4th at 8 o'clock in Houston. I mean, yeah, it's an NFL stadium, but this is not a playoff game. I mean, so with the transfer portal being the minor league NFL free agency, because that's really what it's turned into. I mean, guys can just pick up and leave when they have a better opportunity. There's been NIL money thrown at these kids. Looking back, even 5-10 years ago, I don't know who would have imagined that this is where college football would be.
Yeah.
With coaches getting $10 million a year, 10-year contracts, $100 million, players getting paid, guys getting a 9-figure NIL deal. I feel for Max Johnson that this is a business decision. He's a very promising, true sophomore quarterback prospect. I mean, the guy, like you said.
You think he plays on Sunday?
I think there is a lot of room for improvement for Max Johnson, and if he does those things, I think he gets a shot. I mean, you can name the Alabama quarterbacks year after year that got shot at NFL deals. You can make a team. Chase Daniels is still playing in the NFL right now as a backup quarterback. Max Johnson has an opportunity, especially with his family and his dad and who the connections are, of getting a trial for an NFL team. I completely agree with you that this past season, 2021, did not look like the kid from 2020, the freshman, being very decisive with the ball, almost like a Joe Burrow, pulling it down on third down, getting crucial first downs, throwing the ball on the run with accuracy, making his mind up, dumping it off. Offensive line was bad this season for LSU. That played into it. Horrible system. True sophomore who hasn't started more than, 13, 14 games. To go 27-6, I think that is a promising recruit. And I think a lot of people got their feelings hurt when he bowed out before the bowl game. But I don't think players at LSU look at playing for a university like players used to back in the day. Yeah, there's loyalty, but it's all about me, bud, man. I'm going to the pros one day. This is where I'm going to have build my platform. They're going to teach me how to social media. They're going to give me NIL deals, put me in a gear, and they're going to show me on ESPN when I make a good play. So that's why I'm going to LSU. Yeah, it's a storied university, but it's about me. And I'll tell you what, if Garrett Nussmeier does not burn the red shirt and play in this bowl game, he never wins that locker room, in my opinion, as an LSU quarterback.
We'll discuss that. Back to Max. I don't want this to sound like sour grapes. excuse me, but I think he needs a stronger arm, number one.
Agreed.
He definitely held on to the ball too long, number two.
Agreed.
He did not do a good job with pocket presence. And I called him, listen, I was pulling for him. After 2020, I called him a poor man's left-handed Joe Burrow. But he did not make that step in the right direction. And I don't think you can win a championship with Max Johnson. And I don't necessarily think, other than maybe a third-team quarterback, that he has a chance to make it in the pros. That all being said, he went out on a great throw and catch.
No kidding.
And you thank him for his service.
Yeah.
But the days of people signing with LSU because it's LSU are over. They're signing because they're getting something out of it.
Yep.
It's a me world, not a we world anymore. And I echo 100% of what you just said about Garrett Nussmeier. If he redshirts, it once again looks like a me decision. Who stays around 5 years anymore when you're a quarterback? And
no one.
His team.
Yeah, no one.
See, how about the guys that have stuck around, like Glenn Logan and all those guys, Cam Lewis, Damone Clark,
Right.
Micah Baskerville, all those guys. Guess what? Ricks and Stingley and all these other superstars. Did they play well this year? Well, no, they played very little. They got hurt and they drug up. My point is that you got to roll with the ones that want to be there. And if Max doesn't want to go, I certainly think the reason behind the timing, though, is because his brother wants to sign with Florida State. And I think he will do that next Wednesday.
Yep.
And Max will follow him, and they want to play together. That, to me, is why the timing aspect of it. Now, you brought up an interesting question about the bowl game. And I said all along, with this season and all the opt-outs and all the injuries, I didn't really think there was a big advantage to getting 15 extra practices because all you guys have been beat up.
Yep.
Remember when they had the freshman little thing, the Tiger Bowl? They didn't even have enough guys ready, the underclassmen, to play that because they were so hurt. But they did sign up to play Kansas State. And I think it will be a little bit embarrassing if LSU's got to put a walk-on quarterback out there. So I'm hoping that Garrett Nussmeier and his daddy decide, look, we need to get our foot in the door, and this is a perfect opportunity. That's the guy that can benefit from all the reps and practice.
Exactly.
That's the guy that can win the locker room, and that's the guy that can get in that locker room and say, guys, I'm not worried about my personal classification. Yep. I'm here. We're going to bond, and we're going to go up and kick Kansas State's butt and play in this bowl game. Otherwise, you're going to see LSU with walk-on quarterbacks and maybe Johnson Kirkland getting a little bit of the Wildcat and an ugly bowl game. But quite frankly, I didn't necessarily think accepting a bowl was now, here's the other mindset I had. Remember, because of the craziness, they opted out not to go to a bowl game last year. With that Title IX stuff and all that stuff still hanging over their head, quite frankly, I think they should have made that same decision this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if you're Garrett Nussmeier, how could you not want to take that opportunity? One, you can win over the locker room immediately. You give the fan base some confidence, the coaches some confidence that you might be the guy that gets to compete for a quarterback starting spot next year. It's to keep the red shirt, to opt out, to put LSU in a situation where, I mean, look, the New England Patriots played in Buffalo. They only threw 3 passes, handed the ball off, and they still won 14-10. I don't think LSU has the offensive line to manhandle Kansas State.
That was crazy weather, though.
It totally was, and I completely understand. But the game plan was tailored to what they had to do to win the game. And Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick because he does things like that. He puts his teams in situations to succeed. This benefits Garrett Nussmeier. I think it also benefits Brian Kelly. I mean, he gets 15 extra practice to kind of see how things work, get his feel for the operations day to day, and kind of put his stamp on how things are going to work, like an expectation or a standard.
But we don't know what he's going to do as far as that game.
We don't know what he's doing at practice. Yeah. We don't know how he's reacting or what he's evaluating. I mean, how could you evaluate, walk-on quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad spot. They still don't know who the offensive coordinator is going to be for him or the defensive coordinator. He did get some leadership help, bringing in Bill Polian. And look, a lot going on this weekend, and look, 1 week away from National Signing Day, and all these recruits, they're watching. I mean, they know the guys from Louisiana that have come out in support of Brian Kelly. I think they were going to be an LSU lock anyway, but there's going to be some people that decommit, and LSU needs to get them back interested real quick.
That motorcycle and all that sound from traffic is kind of like what college football is right now. Everybody's on the interstate and driving fast, and boy, the price of poker to recruit and to get these kids in here. Look, there are about 3 overwhelming questions that Brian Kelly is going to have to answer, and I don't think they will be answered in the short term. I think it's going to take all the way up maybe a year and a half to answer the following. Number one, how good a closer is he in recruiting? You're going against Nick Saban. You're going against Jimbo. You're going against Lane Kiffin.
Right.
You're going against Kirby Smart. You're going against Billy Napier, who's an excellent recruiter. So you better realize right now, even though LSU does a great thing, and I know he brought in Frank Wilson, and Frank's going to do a lot of the legwork and a lot of the lifting and a lot of the hours, and that's a great hire.
Right.
But still, you got to be able to close deals, and that starts this weekend and getting some names in double-digit numbers for next Wednesday. The second thing I think people are looking at is from an offensive philosophy. Now, would you say he's similar to a Saban parallel?
I mean, personality.
Saban was 49 when he got this gig, and he's 60, but the type of way he runs the program.
Right. I mean, personality, organization, the way he handles himself with the media.
No
a lot
nonsense,
of similarities.
old school.
Right.
Well, guess what, folks? Nick Saban came to LSU, and remember what he was? He's very conservative on offense. And he'd tell Jimbo, shut it down, third quarter. We don't want to pass anymore. We're going to win this thing with special teams defense. With all the spread being thrown in the SEC, he is going to have to be a little more aggressive and unpredictable on offense. And then the third thing, JP, and I never really mentioned this, but I've had a lot of other people tell me this, so I'm going to include it. 60 years old. You just got a $100 million deal. Now, they listed it at 95, but JP, he gets $1 million in incentives if you go to a bowl game or whatever, all these other things. So it's going to be over $10 million a year.
Yep.
Does he have that fire in his belly?
Right.
I mean, is he content? Excuse me. I don't think he's content. But how much fire in his belly does he have? Because you know how competitive this fan base is.
Right.
And you can say all you want out there, Tiger fans, but I know how you are. Come September, you're going to be expecting an LSU team under Brian Kelly to win 9 or 10 games next September.
I totally agree. I mean, there's expectations.
It's just the way it is around here.
11-1, I'm hearing people say already.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, 8 or 9, you go, what? You're going to see, and by the way, that schedule sets up very nice for him with the start.
Yep.
But we are talking about the SEC West, which is without a doubt the toughest conference in all of college football. But I don't think any of us know right now, A, how good a closer and recruiter he'll be, B, how aggressive and will his staff fit all the right pieces in year one, and C, that fire in his belly. I want to believe it, but man, when you get to 60 and you got $100 million, I think he's got fire, but how much fire? Because let me tell you one thing about Nick Saban. If this guy wins it this year, and this is not even close to being his best team, it's a scary thought to see and look like, oh, by the way, folks, in case you missed it and you're watching in Georgia, Kirby Smart did it officially. He went to the Secretary of State and changed his name. He is now officially known as Kirby, I'm not so smart.
I thought you were going to say Kirby Saban because he's Nick Saban's son, but
Kirby, I'm not so smart. It was official.
Unbelievable,
Got his butt kicked again. And didn't have any answers before or after, JP.
No, that SEC championship was, I wish you could say it was surprising, but, Georgia came out strong in the first quarter. You're thinking, hey, this might be a little different this year, but it was kind of like Muhammad Ali when he used to do the rope-a-dope. Give me your best shot, keep throwing it at me, and then I'm going to demolish you in the second half of this fight. And that's exactly what Alabama did. Bryce Young, very talented.
He won the Heisman.
Very, very talented. Dropping it a bucket from 50 yards away, but
he won the Heisman on Saturday.
I felt bad for Georgia. I really did. If you ever thought that this was going to be the year as a Georgia fan, you built it up to where we're going to smash Alabama this year. Oh, we can't. We want Bama. That used to be a joke. But now it's like, oh, we want Bama. Those people that say that end up not wanting Bama at the end.
Well, but, JP, we all thought this was a year that Georgia would be able to play straight up.
Yeah.
And once again, as Nick Saban told the media, all that rat poison was yummy. I don't know if I've ever heard Saban say yummy before.
I don't pay attention that much, really.
Well, I know, but they fed off of that.
Yeah.
And I have, by the way, a niece who went to Georgia, had a little baby. She had him dressed up in the little Georgia clothes.
She gave him back.
No. I had relatives that live in Atlanta. And you know what? I was a nice guy. I didn't text anybody because I knew they were licking their wounds after that butt kicking.
LSU fans have felt that before, so we can relate to it. But look, Alabama moves on. They're now number 1 in the college football poll. Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, and Cincinnati. You have to be picking Alabama to beat Cincinnati at this point.
And the second game will be a close game, I think.
I think it will,
Georgia
too.
and Michigan.
Michigan's really played well. Of course, they have that great defensive end. Jim Harbaugh is, I think, his best job he's done as a coach this season. The way he took care of Ohio State, which was a huge hurdle he had to get over for that Wolverine program, but made it to the playoffs. Talk about a bounce-back game for Georgia. You go in with no losses, giving up 3 points a game, whatever it was.
6.5 points a game, yeah.
And then for them to be down by 10 points in a blink, Alabama can do that. I think that guy, that transfer wide receiver from Ohio to
Jameson Williams, boy, he's good, man.
He can take the top off of any defense, and I haven't seen him drop many balls, but man.
He is super. By the way, LSU does have an interim coach, Brad Davis. He came over from Arkansas. He's been the offensive line coach. We're going to listen to a little bit of him. Do you think he sticks on with this staff?
It certainly seems that's how they're treating this whole situation, does it not? But I can't speak for Brian Kelly. It's been pretty much a total reset as of now. But if you're not going to keep Corey Raymond, you don't keep Brad Davis.
I think Corey Raymond's going to be kept. I don't think that's been released, but I've got it on good authority that Corey Raymond will get kept. Coach Falk might get kept, but in a different position. I think I'm hearing Frank Wilson's going to coach running backs. Of course, they've got the strength coach, got the special teams coach, and some others to come in. Still no coordinators definitively hired, but Brad Davis, I got to be honest, I was very impressed with his interview.
We'll let you guys hear from Coach Brad Davis, the interim head coach of the LSU football Tigers. Right after this break, before we go to break, we'll remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. All the Tigers roars, the Clarence Buggs Show, the coach Roger Kadar, Overtime with athletic director Roman Banks for Southern University. It's all up there, including some Rocket Right shows. So go check it out. And when you got our page, go ahead and click subscribe. So you can know every time we post something new on YouTube. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. And we'll be right back after this break.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremontis.com.
Sharing holiday cheers starts in the rewarding Mazda CX-30. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
You'll feel inspired this holiday season in a new CX-30 from Team Mazda on Airline.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Welcome back to Tigers Roar. Continuing to talk about LSU football. Going to be in the Tax-Act Texas Bowl, Houston, Texas, NRG Stadium, the home of the Houston Texans, taking on Kansas State. Bud, man, I know there's a lot of LSU faithful and alumni that live in the Houston area, so I expect a big turnout from those folks to NRG Stadium. And look, NFL facilities, it's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice trip for the players. Congratulations to those guys who did stick around and fought through and ended up 6-6, avoids a losing season, gets bowl eligible. Happy for those young men. Of course, LSU has questions at the quarterback spot. Who's going to play? Is probably going to take his red shirt? A whole lot more. One thing we do know, the interim head coach will be offensive line coach Brad Davis. I'll let you guys hear from Coach Davis right here on Tigers Roar.
Well, we're super excited about the opportunity to coach the team in the Texas Bowl against Kansas State. For me personally, it's a milestone moment to represent LSU and the state of Louisiana in such a remarkable contest. We're excited to return to Houston. During the hurricane, obviously we were displaced, and the city of Houston, and particularly the Houston Texans, showed us a ton of hospitality. And so we're certainly honored to go back and play in such a prestigious venue. We're really excited to go and play in front of our fans. Obviously, there's a large alumni base in the city of Houston, and so we're certainly excited to go get in front of those fans for sure. This is really a proud moment for our team. We played some good football down the stretch. And I tell you what, being invited to this bowl game, really it lends to the toughness that's in our team, the kids that are in that locker room, the leadership that those guys exemplify. So we're really excited to go out there and have an opportunity to compete and really to finish this season, send our seniors out on a winning note. So with that being said, I'm happy to answer any questions as it pertains to our team in the bowl game. Oh, let's see, probably a 12-hour trip, 12-hour bus ride. That kind of stuck out, obviously. It was really a tumultuous time for our team and everyone really in South Louisiana, and for us, we had to prepare for a football game. And so what it showed me was really, how the state of Louisiana and really this university, how we all came together to do what was best, for our team and their families for that matter. And so, when we arrived in Houston, there was a ton of hospitality. We felt really welcomed. We tried to, in some form and fashion, give our kids some normalcy in terms of our game preparation. And so, we obviously had a chance to continue our prep and go out to L.A. Obviously, the game didn't turn out how we wanted it to, but we were allowed, in my mind, to go out there and make do despite the circumstances.
I guess just talk about what the next couple weeks look like in terms of when you guys can get on the practice field, just kind of what what game plan is in terms of preparing for this.
Sure, you bet. So we wrapped the season up, and then currently right now our players are doing academics, right? They have finals next week, and so that's a big deal for our guys. We wanted to give our guys a little bit of a break. They've had a long season. There's been a ton of adversity, and so really just giving our kids a chance to catch their breath. And so this next week will be finals. There'll be a discretionary week in terms of them utilizing the weight room and things like that. We'll ramp up here on Saturday. This upcoming Saturday, we'll start practice. We'll start our preparation for Kansas State. The big piece for us right now is utilizing this time to develop our younger players. We want to focus on fundamentals. We want to really focus on continued growth and really take this time to get our team no distractions. The game is going to be what's the main thing. You know what I mean? Nothing else at this point really should take away from our kids' preparation. They know what's happening going forward, all those things. Right now, it's finishing this season. It's sending our seniors out the right way, and that's what we're going to focus on.
Hey, Brad, Michael Cosmo from Channel 2. It's been a whirlwind for you.
Yeah.
First year, you're leading the team in the bowl. So I guess if you can kind of take us through that process, what do you feel about yourself that's prepared you for this moment, and how excited are you to be the guy that gets the chance?
Well, you know what? I've been preparing for this my whole life. I'm from North Baton Rouge. I grew up on Winburn Avenue. People who are from this city, you're taught from a young age about toughness. You're taught about making do, making something out of nothing, and so I'm so proud to represent the people that I grew up with that have been and have had a huge part in my upbringing to get to this point. From a career standpoint, I've traveled all over the country, and I've tried to do my best everywhere I've gone, and yet somehow it led me back here to home, and I'm awfully proud. I did the coolest thing today, which is I went to church with my mom. I hadn't done that, and I tell you what, you guys talk about coaches and these salaries and all the stuff that people think really matters. Today I was able to go home. After church, my mom, she cooked a pot of white beans. My dad was going to barbecue. And then I got a phone call that I had a press conference and told them, I'm going to be on the news. And so they went crazy. Baton Rouge is a nice sized city, but we have a really small town, community. Everything's tight knit and real close. And so it's been a bit of a whirlwind. I'm awfully proud to coach at LSU. It's been a lifelong dream for me, and I've enjoyed every day that I've had a chance to wear this shirt. My plan going forward is every day I'm allowed to. I'm going to give my best for LSU. I'm going to do everything I can in this role to advance LSU and really springboard our team for success going forward.
Brad, Joseph Fox 44, you talked about getting this opportunity, but you also will be the first black man to lead LSU as a head coach. Whether it's one game or not, how does that feel for you?
It's an honor. I mean, it speaks to, in my opinion, the university itself. Being from South Louisiana, I mean, you can talk about, historically how things have been here, but yet I think it shows the progress that that the state of Louisiana and the university itself has made. You think about President Tate, you think about me in this role. It speaks to LSU being extremely progressive, and that's something that I'm awfully proud of. I hope to, in this role, represent LSU in a great light, but also represent all young African-American coaches out there who are looking for this very opportunity. It is a big deal. I want to go out there and coach this team to success. I want to win this game. And more importantly, I think when I look back, I want to be proud of what I did in this role to not only help the young men in our program, but help aspiring coaches, kids in North Baton Rouge who ride the transfer bus and may not see a way out. I was one of those kids, and I'm here right now. And I tell you what, with utilizing the resources around you and having a praying mama, you can be up here too. It's easy. You know what I mean? So I got those things, luckily.
What about the preparation? It's real early in it, obviously, but have you talked to anybody that may not want to play in the bowl game? Are you managing the roster right now? Is that something that you're trying to figure out before you start practice?
Yeah, certainly. So obviously we've been beat up this year, right? We've been snake bit a little bit, and so with the date, the January 4th bowl date, that'll give us a chance to get some guys back, which we're happy about. In terms of players opting out, in this climate, it's something that's not uncommon. But at the moment, we haven't had that cross our desk yet. So, if we do have players who choose to opt out, we'll respect their wishes, obviously. But we'll address that as it comes time to. Right now, the kids that got the news this afternoon, they were super excited about the bowl game. We're going to go out there and play to win.
How are you going to handle this? Do you want to coach the line still and kind of oversee everything at night, or how do you want to go?
Well, the first thing I'll do is I'm going to defer to Coach Kelly, obviously, in terms of, the organization and what he sees as the vision going forward. As it pertains to administering the practices and things like that, Joe Henry has been an analyst on the staff, worked with me at the offensive line spot, and so I plan to elevate his role and allow him to go out there and lead the offensive line in practice, just so I can utilize the time to prepare for more of the head coaching role and making more important decisions on game day. With Coach Joseph obviously departing, DJ Mangus, who has also been in the receivers room as well, will have a elevated role as well, and he'll lead the entire unit along with Carter Sheridan, who is also an analyst.
Have you ever had head coaching experience?
Well, no, not in this role. I have not. Now, I like to think that the offensive line spot, I lead probably the largest group of kids on the team. So, every year as an offensive line guy, I have anywhere between 18 and 22 players. And so, managing those guys, academically, being responsible for the culture, practice preparation, drill work, and then ultimately, having them go out and play, it's something that in my mind I've been preparing for a long time. So, this is I'm 0-0 as a head coach at the moment. You know what I mean? Hope to be 1-0.
Coach Shea Dixon with 20.7. Have you gotten a chance to talk with Coach Kelly, and if so, just some early impressions you can share?
Yeah, you bet. So he and I have had a chance to meet. My impression of him, I hold him in high regard. He's a winner. I think Scott went out and looked for a coach that could come here and bring that here, just that winning mindset and sustained winning, and that's something that he's done. So I have a great impression of him as a head football coach. I have high expectations, and I think he's going to do phenomenal here.
As interim, what role does, or kind of in your mind, where is signing day being in 10 days? Where does that kind of fit into? Obviously, there's a lot in motion, but
sure.
Just signing the guys you got committed at least.
Recruiting is a priority. It always has been and always will be at LSU, and so that part has not changed. And so we're focusing on signing a really good class. We've got some guys targeted that I think will be immediate impact players for LSU, and so that hasn't wavered in any of the transition.
You still doing the power hour kind of stuff?
No, not at the moment. No, not at the moment. We've some things will change naturally in the transition, but I tell you what, going forward, the plan that we have to sign the kids we want, I think we're going to be very proud of the guys we bring into the program.
The individual coaches are staying on their guys.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yep, that's right. Yes, sir.
Just to clarify, we're talking to you now, but you'll be the interim coach holding this discussion, and then Coach Kelly will be involved. You'll be, as far as you know,
Yeah, as of 5:36 today, I'm the interim head coach. Yes, sir. You got him. I am he. Yes, sir. Let's something happens, that I'm uncertain of. But yeah, going forward, I will be the interim head coach. Yes, sir.
Coach, Josh Dibble with Louisiana Gridiron Football. Speaking of Coach Kelly, will you utilize him for the bowl game as far as a mentor role, or more as an analyst role?
Well, both. Both, obviously. I'd be foolish not to utilize his expertise. He's obviously coached in tons of big football games. And so, going forward, I want to be in compliance with what he wants in regards to the organization of it. These 15 practices are valuable. And so we don't want to waste one of them developing this team for 2022. Obviously, the bowl game is the matter at hand, but we definitely want to springboard into 2022. You know what I mean? So, as it gets closer to time for our preparation, getting through this next week and recruiting, I fully intend to spend time utilizing him, for both the analytical piece and his expertise. Yes, sir.
That was interim head coach Brad Davis getting ready for the Texas Bowl against Kansas State. Also talking about his relationship with Brian Kelly and how he operates. And while we were in that video, Bud, man, we got some breaking news.
Breaking news, folks. Brad Davis is going to stay on as the LSU O-line coach. A lot of people kind of thought the dots might fall into place since he was named the interim head coach. I got to be honest with you. For a first time, and I said I wasn't going to say anything about it, but please, LSU, we have asked you numerous times. I'm supposed to not blow a gasket.
Yeah.
But how the hell can we understand the answers when you don't give a mic to the media so we can hear the questions? So please, answers are not any good if you can't hear the frickin' questions. Now that I have blown my gasket on that, Michael Bonnet and the rest of the people, I asked him to do that. He did that for a couple, but they're back to being lazy again. Brad Davis is going to be the interim head coach, and he is going to be the offensive line coach. And hopefully next time we show you some tape on Tigers Roar, you will hear the questions and the answers.
Oh, Bud, man, you said you wouldn't do that, but hey.
I couldn't help myself. Yeah. When ignorance is bliss, it is foolish to be wise.
There you go. All right, Coach Brad Davis did a great job in the interview. Really impressed some people. A very intelligent man who comes from Sam Pittman's coaching tree, and he really knows a lot about offensive lineman coaches. And that unit did underperform this year, but so much attrition. I mean, 9 different combinations to start a game for the offensive line. Had to play Garrett Dellinger at left tackle.
And give that guy some help.
And it's tough for any true freshman. Of course, he did make the All-SEC team along with Jack Besh. There's also some All-SEC honors handed out this week, Bud, man. First team, no surprise, and I believe the Buckus snub in Damone Clark.
Yeah.
He's in the first team SEC. And then second team, of course, Cade York, the very talented kicker for the LSU Tigers. And, of course, Ed Ingram, the offensive guard. I thought Neil Farrell was a huge snub not making an SEC team, Bud, man.
I don't think anybody that's an LSU fan would trade Cade York for any other kicker in the league. I had Drew Alamo on a couple of weeks ago. He is the guy that kicked the game winner in the game of the century, 9-6 win over Bama over a decade ago. And he said Cade York might actually be graduating, so he actually could give up his final year and go to the pros. I hope he comes back, because I tell you what, he's the best kicker I've seen. Also, by the way, Avery Atkins, the best kickoff man in LSU history. Senior year. But look, Max with an incredible pass on his way out. Brad Davis is going to continue on to be the offensive line coach. I think we're going to be a lot more positive next Wednesday when you get a little bit of momentum. You get a few more coaches in here, have a big recruiting weekend, and you post 12 or 13 or 14 commits signed next weekend, hopefully, at the time we do this show, and then moving forward. But it's going to be interesting to see how this bowl game plays out.
So the recruiting is heating up 1 week away, December 15th, National Signing Day, that early signing period for the 2022 recruits. Of course, LSU has a lot of guys that they expect to sign their name on the dotted line and get committed to play for the Tigers. And nobody knows more about this than Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Mike Scarborough here on Tigers Roar, so don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it.
Taste the feeling.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road, Gonzales.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
At the Team Automotive Group, we make it easy for you to buy here or sell here. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here while your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been, and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here at the Team Automotive Group.
And we welcome you back on a Wednesday evening here in the capital city of Baton Rouge, 1 week away from National Signing Date. And we talk about it, JP. Hardest working man in show business, Mike Scarborough, on this Wednesday afternoon. And every time you try to drop your clothes off to the cleaners or go get a bite to eat or whatever, it's hard to manage it. Not only Baton Rouge traffic, but there's always breaking stories. And Mike, couple of staff stories we start off with on this Wednesday, December the 8th. So kudos to you on the work you did, and hope you're doing well, my man.
Yeah, man. Just I don't think we're going to have much time to breathe here between now and signing day. And now that Coach Kelly's out on the road, we're starting to see all the photos of him and Frank Wilson out in Lake Charles, seeing Citizen earlier today. So they're getting the work done. Kelly was at, Madison Prep, then at Capricorn, then he drove to Lafayette and met with Walker Howard. And my understanding, based on everybody I've talked to, all these visits have been extremely positive.
Mike, as far as recruits go and the naming of coaches, now we announced Brad Davis is going to be the O-line coach and stay on. And now, of course, it's also broken here in the last hour that former Oklahoma and Notre Dame defensive back coach and co-defensive coordinator Kerry Cooks is also joining the staff. That hasn't been officially released, but it does seem like the staff is now coming together here. How important is that for these early signees? Of course, I say early signees with the one in February, but how important is it, in your opinion, talking to these recruits?
I think it's very important, and certainly they want to know who their coordinators are going to be. But I do know that earlier today I talked to Jamie Howard after the visit with Coach Kelly, and I tell you what, he was extremely excited. He liked what he had to hear. He liked his presentation. He believes in the plan. So I don't think he was told who the offensive coordinator is going to be. But I think he feels pretty darn solid that it's going to be somebody very notable. So, I think the more these guys get to meet Coach Kelly and how polished he is and what his plan is going to be going forward, I think the better. But that doesn't mean that we're still not going to have more kids going to the transfer portal. You've got guys now that are looking to follow Mickey Joseph to Nebraska. We haven't seen how far the attrition is going to be yet. I don't even think we've scratched the surface yet.
Right, as Coach Kelly puts together his staff, of course, you bring in Frank Wilson, a guy who knows Louisiana like few others. And, I mean, Mike, it's just good to get guys on staff so they can help you recruit. I mean, I know Coach Kelly knew that his schedule between when he announced him until early signing day or national signing day was going to be pretty hectic. But the more people you have on staff, I mean, the easier it is to spread out those guys and go visit these schools and see these recruits.
Look, at the same time, the fact that he's going to get as many of them as possible for visits today.
Right.
Looking at all this real hard. So even the guys through the recruiting process today, why is LSU offering it? Well, he got an offer today, and he's also going to be one of the official visitors this weekend. So we're going to see how many of the commitments or new additions they'll have next week. You know, but I think they're more or less concentrating on the commitments, wanting to maybe get Citizen back, Quincy Wiggins, of course, that Madison Prep. You know, with I'm hearing conflicting reports that they can get back in on Aaron Anderson or not. But I think it's very apparent to me that the guys that are maybe further down the list or in a position that aren't that big of a need, rather than try and fill the class up with high school kids, I think they're going to hold to have as many spots as they can to go big in the transfer portal. Much like we heard about all season long as to why Michigan State was having so much success was because Mel Tucker went big number transfer portal. And I think Brian Kelly realizes he's going to need to do the same for next year's team.
Yeah, by the way, the interesting name that I heard there, JP, Citizen, the running back, who is a big, strong guy that can run you over or around you. Mike, I didn't get to this on the Wednesday show on the radio and internet today, but had a couple people asking me if you know of the future of John Emery, if he's coming back, and Citizen. Do you think they're back in there? And who else are they fighting for Citizen?
Yeah, we'll see on Citizen. I need to talk to him. That little network there is a pretty tight group. I'm supposed to talk to somebody this evening, but the fact that Frank has been there for Lake Charles at McNeese these last couple of years, he's got play of that land. So we're going to see what happens there. LSU needs a running back in the class.
And Emery, what do you expect? I mean, JP, I don't know where there's anywhere to go. John Emery certainly can't go to the pros. I don't think his value would be there. Right. And we know that TDP, Ty Davis-Price, let's be honest, he ended up having 1,000 yards rushing. He has a good bowl game. I would think that he would probably put his name into the hopper and go pro. So running back could be a neat area, Mike.
I think Jane Davis-Price is going to say, you know, look, I've been here for the several years. I don't know what kind of offensive line you're going to have, but he's a running back. How much tread do you have on the tire? Is it better to just go ahead and take your chances and go to the league?
Yeah.
Well, Mike, something we talked about earlier, Gary Nussmeier, of course, wanted to hold the red shirt, so the coaching staff, the previous coaching staff, really treated with Nick gloves and only played him 4 games. If he plays in this bowl game, the Texas Bowl, he's going to lose that red shirt. But I don't think he has a choice, Mike. If this guy wants to ever win over this locker room, it needs to be right now. You're the next guy up. You got to step up and do what you have to do to get your team to beat Kansas State in Houston.
Yeah, I can see it both ways. With the way things are and college football being very much like the pros now, you know, you hate to say these guys being about me, but when you're talking about a 6-6 team in a Texas Bowl and burning a red shirt, and you get that one-time transfer, and wanting those years to be able to be productive, maybe a future pro career, I don't know. Maybe he goes ahead and burns it, and it'll surprise me. You know, but you also realize that he's also got an NFL coach father who's a former quarterback and a mom who's very involved, and they're going to have to pro and con that. I don't know. Part of me tends to lean towards Techno removing that red shirt for a bowl game when you're 6-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see both sides too. Yeah. Although I just don't know. When's the last quarterback that stayed at LSU for 5 years?
Jordan Jefferson. Justin Jefferson. What was his name? Jordan.
I think he didn't redshirt. I think he was 4.
I don't know then.
My point is that that's a long time to stay at a place. By the way, Mike, have you noticed with these staff guys coming in, all of them seem to be pretty good recruiters. Polian's a good recruiter. Frank Wilson, certainly reputation here in the state. Brad Davis, a good recruiter. Tell me a little bit about Kerry Cooks. I know this just broke, but do you know if he is also a recruiting specialist?
breaking news for you. Corey Raymond is joining Billy Napier's staff at Florida.
Wow. Holy cow. That is breaking news.
Wow.
Corey Raymond leaving LSU to go with Billy. That's a coup for Billy Napier.
No doubt.
Yes, it is.
So, look, you said all along you couldn't leave the house. It seems like we've got plenty to talk about here.
I'm sitting in the garage talking to you because I don't want to mess the call up with Bluetooth. So, yeah.
Well, Mike, certainly appreciate your time. We know you're extremely busy trying to get stories out. Let you go. Before we let you go, tell everybody about TigerBait.com and they subscribe today.
That's it. Go to TigerBait.com. Obviously, it's nonstop right now. There's a lot coming your way, and you want to get the text alerts as these news come out. So go to TigerBait, subscribe, and check us out. LSU Tigers on TigerBait on YouTube. Buddy and I go live every Wednesday night, sometimes Tuesday nights if there's a conflict with basketball. So our YouTube show is getting bigger every week.
Thank you, Mike, as
All right,
always,
Mike.
my friend. Good stuff.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, and boy, I tell you
Gee
what,
whiz.
we gave them a chock full of information. So Brad Davis is staying as the offensive line coach. Corey Raymond seemed like it is going to, and listen, it's been known that Corey Raymond wanted to be the DC for many years. Nobody ever got him gave him that opportunity. Look, he's done a good job. Most people that I talked to thought Corey Raymond was going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's done a great job for many, many years. But just like Tommy Moffitt, I mean, when you got a new coach coming in here, sometimes there's a different vision, you know?
That certainly is breaking news. We'll take a quick break, come back and talk some more about Corey Raymond, the coaching carousel, the winners and the losers across college football, and a whole lot more. Come back and join us. You're watching Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Hello. Hola. 你好。
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue here on Tigers Roar. Last segment, we talked to Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com, and Mike broke some news to us that Corey Raymond will join Billy Napier, former UL Lafayette coach, in Florida and be the defensive backs coach. Oh, I'm not sure the role. Is he going to be the DB's coach? Or?
Well, we're assuming he's going to coach DBs. By the way, the earlier name we gave you, Kerry Cooks, who was at Oklahoma and Notre Dame, he was a defensive back coach as well as a co-defensive coordinator. So it sounds like that makes sense.
Right.
With his release, it makes sense that Corey Raymond wasn't coming back. So all of this has happened. Brad Davis is going to stay there. Kerry Cooks, they have not named his position, but now with Corey Raymond leaving, it looks like he's going to coach DBs. And you still have a couple more days. Boy, I tell you what, this has been
chapter.
This has been wild and wacky.
That's right.
With players and coaches. And once again, we didn't have a chance to discuss this, but you've got a son that really played well. And oh, by the way, congratulations to the Catholic High Bears. David Semino, in his first year with the Bears, won a state championship, so we congratulate him.
They actually beat Jesuit, who was coached by Ryan Manali, who used to be at De La Salle, so there's a connection there.
Yeah. And so you've got a son, and, you know, in 3 years, he's going to be getting recruited.
Hopefully.
So the question is, do you personally like the early signing period, or do you want to see it go back? And because when you do have a coaching change, like so many people did this year, a lot of people have said, man, move that thing back after Christmas, maybe even to early January. If you want to have two, go early January and then the first Wednesday in February. Whereas this one, it is really, really tough to get all these ducks in a row with such a sense of urgency and so little time.
I think it makes it certainly exciting, certainly gives a lot of stuff to talk about on talk shows like this one. To have it just, a week after the regular season, it's a couple weeks after the regular season ends, before the bowl games, especially the ones that really matter. You have coaches. To me, this has been the wildest, the craziest coaching carousel that I could remember, certainly in recent memory. Want to talk winners and losers, but to answer your question, if it was for me, I don't mind it being December 15th. Also wouldn't mind it being pushed back, 2 or 3 weeks. You don't see this every year where there's coaches in mainstream universities getting other jobs and other conferences, and there's always going to be turnover. And now with the transfer portal, I think it's way less. Well, it's still significant, but I think players now don't get left just holding the bag on a team that they don't want to be on, that didn't recruit them there with the staff that they don't know. They can also jump ship, move on to something else. Before the transfer portal and where it was, I would totally agree with you that you need to give players time to evaluate, and parents. I mean, where are you going to send your kids for 3-4 years? The coach that you've been talking to for a year and a half isn't going to be there. You're not going to know anywhere. Who's going to watch over your child, mold them into young men. And so, like I said, I wouldn't mind it moving back a couple of weeks, but I understand it being December 15th. I mean, you spread it out a little bit. You give players time if they need to transfer to do so. But then you also get the bowl season coming up, so it's always like a moving ball of momentum.
I think the teams that don't have the coaching changeover and the craziness certainly are at an advantage.
Yeah, right.
And we will be interested to see. Most people still assuming that OU and Texas are coming into the SEC in 2023. The schedule's already been put out for 2022.
Yep.
A lot of bowl teams, you're down to the Final Four. Cincinnati has a coach that I know Brian Kelly would love to hire as his OC, but once again, kind of problematic in that he's with Luke Fickell and the Bearcats until they play Alabama. Do you see, I had a buddy of mine who has some friends in Alabama, and I don't know if Scooter was just saying this or not. He says, I think Cincinnati can upset Alabama. And I said, well, look, the problem with that is which Alabama team is going to show up.
Exactly.
If the one that showed up against Arkansas, Florida, and LSU plays, and Cincinnati's got a chance.
Yep.
If the one that shows up against Georgia, they don't have a chance.
Right.
And then the second game, by the way, that's 2:30 on New Year's Eve. on ESPN in the Cotton Bowl, and then 6:30 on New Year's Eve in the Orange Bowl with Michigan and Georgia. Do you think Kirby Smart can get his troops and his fan base and everybody behind him? Because, JP, if there was ever a year that they thought that they were the best team in the country, they were. And let's be honest, it's a shot in your confidence. He's got to build everybody back up. And the problem is that the thing points right back at him. Until he wins a national championship, people are going to doubt him.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, physically, I think Georgia had just as much, if not more talent than Alabama did in that game. But mentally, I mean, Alabama, they know they own Georgia on both sides of the line. They can do whatever they want. They know in the second half they won't be able to compete because they have that mental edge that they know how to win this game. They've been there before. Obviously, both teams have, but Georgia just cannot get over that mental hurdle of beating Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. Look, we talked about Bryce Young, and you think he won the Heisman in that SEC championship. I agree with you. I mean, with so much talent spread across the board, so much parity in the league with teams winning and teams losing. I mean, the LSU Tigers were 6-6. The SEC was up and down. I mean, at first you thought Arkansas was a great team, and then it turns out they weren't. And Texas A&M was rated so high in the beginning of the season, they ended up losing to an LSU team with third stringers and a coach that was a lame duck. There was a lot of parity, but the one constant was Nick Saban was going to be in the postseason, and if they got to play Georgia, they were going to win that game in the SEC championship, and they went out and did it.
I don't know about you, but I'm watching that game, and when Bama went up a couple touchdowns, my brain said to me, they're in.
Yep.
They're in.
No doubt.
Whether they're a two-loss team or whether they're a one-loss team, of course, as most of you know, Alabama jumped from 3-1, and Michigan stayed at 2. Georgia went down from 1 to 3, and Cincinnati stayed pat at 4. And so we will continue to talk a lot of football. We'll have a big show next Wednesday with signing date. And just to throw in a couple of other tidbits, nice to see the men's and women's programs getting ranked in the top 25. And one thing about Coach Kim Mulkey and one thing about the General Will Wade, they are bringing it. And I'm going to make this prediction right now. And I know people are going to say I'm crazy, but I think both those teams have chances to play in front of a sold-out Pete Maravich Assembly Center. I think Wade's going to get there, and they're getting closer. But I think Coach Mulkey is getting more and more people. And how spicy and fiery is she on the sidelines, huh?
No, there's no one like Kim Mulkey on the sidelines. I mean, she is so into the game, and her energy is infectious, and the whole stands feed off of her. When she gets a good play in the game, she celebrates with the Tiger Woods fist pump, and she gets into it. She gets after her players, and she's very serious about her job. And look, it's a good state for LSU sports across the board right now. Of course, Jay Johnson finishes up with fall baseball. He had a press conference with the media yesterday and, said all the right things again about how he's going to build this dynasty back up for LSU for baseball. Will Wade sits at 8-0, finally ranked in the top 25. I believe a lot of people out there, the experts at least, thought that this is a very talented team that has a chance to be elite if they continue to defend like they have been doing. And Kim Mulkey's team, I mean, you sit at 6-1, number 24 in the nation, just came with a huge win against Iowa State, number 14 in the nation. We do have some highlights from that game. You can go ahead and play those in the truck if you would, and we'll continue the conversation. But good time for basketball. Of course, football has a turnover, but between Will Wade, who's a general like you mentioned, he's really owning up to that on Twitter and social media, which has been great for the fans. But Kim Mulkey has this Lady Tigers
big three balls right out of the gate, JP.
Really playing well.
She was on fire.
That's Miss Pointer. She was on fire.
Look at she's feeling it right there.
Shoots the ball extremely well. And look, Coach Mulkey coach preaches defense just like Coach Will Wade. Exciting basketball this season in the PMAC.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I tell you what, I watched a good bit of this. Here you go with a steal and a transition. I want to say this is going to be a layup, and it is. And, man, the things that the women do well, the men need to take a page from. They have great spacing. They move the ball around. They don't just jack it up from the parking lot. I think LSU men's have had really poor shot selection, but you'll see a lot of the three balls made here. I want to say they started this game about 5 or 6 in a row from the three-point range.
Yeah, Coach Will Wade was complaining about taking care of the basketball on each and every possession, at least getting a shot up and getting killed on the offensive boards. And I think that's one thing that this LSU team for Coach Kim Mulkey really does great, gets down low and gets those boards. LSU plays a little bit of bully ball at times. You know, they'll get the ball down low, but the way you spread the floor and you can shoot that ball mid-range and three-pointer, but man, tough to defend as a defense.
Caleb Pointer, once again, is one of the better players in the SEC. There we go. Once again, the lady of the night who was just on fire. And I want to say this is going to be, well, we lost track of it here, but okay, here, now you're winning it. And did you see her get this crowd fired up? Oh, by the way, one thing about it now, Kim Mulkey, you know, the Pears got some love handles this year like we always do, but Kim Mulkey, it is a dress for success. And, man, that is, I'm telling you right now, Lady Tigers at some point in 2020 are going to be playing in a sold-out Pete Maravich Assembly Center, and there's no doubt it's going to happen with the General Will Wade. Support your basketball teams. Oh, by the way, Jay Clark with gymnastics had a little bit of a walkthrough. They've had a lot of congestion and flu symptoms, as well as not COVID-related, but injuries. They're going to start off in another month. They're going to be top 5. Beach volleyball and, of course, the softball. And then you mentioned Jay Johnson. I got to be honest with you, man. He reminds me of a younger, happier Nick Saban. Says all the right things, and I think it's going to be an appreciably better baseball product on the field, both hitting, running the bases, defense, and they're going to hit the home run. You know how many home runs they hit last year?
I don't.
93. They're going more than 100 next year.
Well, look, he signs the #1 recruiting class in the nation. Jay Johnson, business-like approach, detail-oriented to the nth degree. I mean, the guy, there is no stone unturned when he comes to his preparation for his hitters. This lineup will be much more successful. And look, certainly the cupboard was not empty when Paul Maneri left. I mean, you bring back Cruz and Morgan and those guys, and LSU has, I think, 3 of the top 6 prospects.
Doty
in the NCAA. It's going to be an exciting year for baseball. He has a plan for every situation he's in Coach Jay Johnson, and he's going to attack the season the same way. He's going to know who needs to play in what games, what batters are going to face what pitchers, Excited about baseball. But look, football's got to wrap up. Of course, it's going to be a crazy offseason, and we have the recruiting going to be coming to a head on December 15th, Wednesday of next week. A whole lot to talk about here on Tigers Roar the next couple of weeks. And, of course, it is the holiday season, so there will be a little break coming up in a couple of weeks. But look forward to next week. A lot more details about Coach Brian Kelly's staff will come out by then. And, of course, we have next Wednesday's edition of Tigers Roar. We'll talk National Signing Day with Mike Scarborough, TigerBite.com. Guys like Will Campbell, Walker Howard are expected to sign
Emory
early.
Jones,
Emory Jones. But, Tiger fans out there kind of have to take a breath. When a new coach comes into a situation, Bud, man, you saw it when Nick Saban came to LSU. You saw it when Les Miles came to LSU. You saw it when Nick Saban came back from the NFL to Alabama. The recruiting classes just take a hit for that first-year coach. Call it uncertainty or whatever you want to call it. There will be guys that you hear for the next couple of days that decommit that you would like to see come play for the Tigers. But with this transfer portal, Brian Kelly has to absolutely attack the transfer portal and get some talented guys in there to fill these holes.
I think you make a great point. Mike mentioned that on our recruiting segment, and this is the beautiful thing about this year. You're going to possibly have 7 that you can get from the transfer portal along with your 25. And look, there are a lot of quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Now, oh, by the way, because we got this, Miles Brennan is being talked to by Nebraska. Mickey Joseph just went over there. Scott Frost. He stole the offensive coordinator, Whipple, from Pittsburgh. But Miles Brennan, do you think, and listen, that's a different league. Miles has been hurt most of his career. Everybody knows he's got a big arm. I think we wish him the best of luck, but interesting to see all that. And LSU fans have been on this yo-yo because, let's be honest. I get calls from people I haven't heard from in months. What's going on with Max Johnson? This is a new era. This is a new world. This is a new landscape of college athletics. And one of the things I told Mike about, and I think he's starting to believe me now, NIL, name, image, and likeness, Texas and Texas A&M and Georgia and Bama and all these others. Man, when you get a big recruit, I can almost guarantee they're getting not only the under-the-table money,
right,
but now you're going to, and so NIL is going to play a real factor in recruiting moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Budman, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West. I mean, anything goes right now. It almost feels like, where's the limit? Where's the ceiling for this NIL? We don't know yet. I mean, it's brand new. So much money out there, Budman. I mean, $100 million contracts to coaches these days. I know you remember how much LSU hired Nick Saban for.
Yeah, 1.2.
And that's almost how much Brad Davis is making as an offensive line coach.
Well, 830, but still, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And that's a lot of money.
But you know, you got to use your marketing genius. I'm still upset that Coca-Cola did not do the you remember the Joe Green commercial, and Mason Smith wears number 0. And I'm sitting here saying, get him a bottle of Coke Zero. Let him throw a 0 jersey to that kid, and everybody's happy. Yeah. Eli Ricks, who, by the way, has got so much baggage, Ohio State has washed his hands of him. He should have had an NIL with Wiener Schnitzel. He's the biggest hot dog on the team. And if you don't think he doesn't have too much mustard on his hot dog, go back to 2 of those pick sixes where he almost got a penalty. What I'm saying is, got to get creative. And you know what, folks? It's the price of poker to compete at the highest level in college football has definitely been kicked up a notch or two. Bam, like Emerald Lagasse used to say.
You got to give a shout out to Louisiana schools or universities that played in the postseason. Southeastern lost in the second round. They had a great year. Coach Frank Selfo did a great job in Hammond.
Cole Kelly, what a year.
Yeah, well, last 2 years.
Yes.
The guy's been outstanding. Of course, Southern on the Bluff. The Jaguars have their new head coach in Eric Dooley, a guy that comes back to Baton Rouge. Budman, great hire in my opinion.
Great hire. Congratulations, Coach Roman Banks, the AD, bringing in Coach Eric Dooley. And you love it when you see former players get involved and embrace the hire, but they've all got personal stories. One of the things I saw on TV, he saw a guy that he coached with 15, 20 years ago. He was asking about those guys that played with him 20 years ago. He hadn't forgot anything. Southern, the Jags, you got a good one, baby.
Shout out to Coach Jason Rollins, the interim coach at Southern. Did a great job.
Class guy.
And what he had, very classy. We had a chance to work with Coach on the Jaguar football show with Jason Rollins. We do that here at Pelican. He was very personal, very charismatic. Wish him the best moving forward, no matter where that brings him, even if it is staying in some capacity at Southern. And, of course, UL Lafayette, Coach Billy Napier's old squad, won the Sun Belt outright. Happy for Coach Napier to finally get that monkey off his chest.
Yeah, they promoted from within. I want to say Michael Desermo. I'm not sure. I apologize for butchering the name, but Billy Napier's done great things. Be interesting to see. Now, you know, LSU and Florida are not going to be playing each other every year when this new contract with OU and Texas comes in, but he'll be a thorn in LSU side recruiting.
And I got to give a huge shout out to the St. Charles Catholic Comets. They won the Division III state championship this past weekend at Yulman Stadium. Have a cousin that plays for the Comets. A lot of those folks were really they were wrecked by Hurricane Ida. Happy for that school. Happy for those young people. Thanks for watching Tigers Roar. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode for the Budman. I'm JP. Thanks for watching Tigers Roar.